Assalamu alaikum everybody, how are you? Today we will be doing one more transaction on the financing side of Islamic banking, which is the Istisna model. Last week we covered Salam, where we give the advance payment and then for delivery of certain fixed commodity at a certain fixed price in the future. And Salam financing along with parallel Salam can be used by an Islamic bank or Islamic financial institutions for basically for agricultural financing. Okay. Now, um, and other commodities as well. Okay. Today we go on to now remember an important aspect of Sharia I mentioned last week, which is normally from Sharia point of view, when you want to sell something, that the thing which you want to sell, the substance of the sale, must be in existence and it must be in your ownership. You must own it before you can sell it. You cannot short sell. Huh? That's why short sell is haram. Short sell is you borrow something and sell. You cannot do that. Okay, okay. So you have to own it. It has to be in your possession. It can be physical possession or constructive possession. That means, let's say you have some stock you want to sell with your agent. Okay, you don't have it yourself, but it's the agent, but it's yours. You own it. The agent is keeping it on your behalf, but it's still under your constructive possession. Then it is allowed. You can sell it. Okay. So unfortunately, there are uh, needs of the community, the public, this need for exemptions to this sort of rules in fiqh because there is a necessity. Maslaha al-mursala, we call it in Sharia, maslaha al-mursala, public need for this thing. Okay, not individual need. You cannot bend the Sharia for individual need. You can only do it for public necessity. Okay, and in case of emergency. But this istisna, and actually, although there have been some debate on istisna, but on the whole, it is accepted istisna and salam as well. These two contracts, as you I want to remind you, is that substance of the thing which you want to sell. Both are sale contracts. Huh? Salam is also a sale contract. So buy a contract, buy a salam, and buy al istisna is also a sale contract. It's a sale contract. Okay, so both are sale, but in both these cases, the substance of the sale, okay, does not exist at the time of the sale. And this is the exemption or rukhsa granted by the Sharia, and it has additional conditions to lessen or alleviate the problems associated with not having the substance you want to sell at the time of the sale. Can you imagine you are selling things which you don't have or don't own? It will become havoc, because you do not know when it's delivered whether it is the same quality you wanted, whether it is or different thing you delivered or low quality or what and all that. So all this, this leads to gharar. That is what gharar means, ambiguity. So that is why the Sharia, because Sharia wants a fair dealings, it has actually made it haram for you to sell something which does not exist and not in your ownership or possession at the time of sale. But because there is a need for this sort of contracts, the Sharia allows, but the fuqaha, in fact, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has added, especially in Salam, additional stipulation, not necessary in the normal sale where you have the thing ready for sale. So we have added, and then the fuqaha has expanded on the additional conditions to ensure the fairness and justice so that they lessen the ambiguity and gharar as much as possible. So subhanallah, actually the fuqaha has done a great job for Islam. We should actually thank them and shukr to them And also shukr to Allah for having such great ulamas, then and perhaps a little bit now also. But the classical fuqaha has always been worried about how to meet the needs of the community without and ensuring the fairness, because that is the maqasid of the Sharia, which is adl, inna Allah ya'muru bil adli wal ihsan. Okay, so that is all this. Don't please think that oh, this Sharia rules too many, we cannot obey all these people. No, no, no. The Sharia rules are there to protect you and the society as a whole. So whatever rules you find in the Sharia, don't think that these are too much for us to follow, and we can take or we can choose this and choose that and leave this and leave that. That is not the way to go. Okay. Uh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَفَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضِ. Allah says in Surah Baqarah, Allah says, they're mentioning the Jews actually, do you want to take a part of the kitab, that is the Torah, and then you leave a part, same thing for the Quran. You cannot take part of Islam. Okay, I'll follow A, B, C, D, but I want to leave E, F, G, H. You cannot do that because Islam is a package deal. It is a shumul. You have to take everything. Okay. Now let's look at this. Okay. Okay. I already mentioned this. All right. So istisna. What is istisna then? Istisna. Sada. Istisna. Sana'a. It comes from the word sana'a. Okay. To make something. To manufacture. To build something. Okay. So istisna is a contract to manufacture the goods or to make it. For example, if you go to a tailor and ask him to, sew a shirt for you, that you don't call that manufacturing the shirt lah. Although the factories, nowadays the textile factories, they manufacture textile cloth, they do it on a factory. That's called manufacturing lah. What you call as ready-made shirts, ready-made clothes, and so on. That's manufacturing. Yeah. So, but istisna can be used to build or manufacture the goods to a specification. But it must be the istisna contract. You must manufacture, but the goods to be manufactured must be to a certain specification agreed and delivered the manufacturer to the buyer at a future. Must be agreed date. Agreed date. Payment being made in advance or deferred or in installments. Whereas the salam contract, you have to pay in advance. For istisna, you don't have to pay in advance. You can pay if you want, or you can defer it, or you can, pay in installment. That's why it's on the financing side of the balance sheet of an Islamic bank, because the Islamic bank provides financing based on istisna, and the customer who buys, maybe he buys an aeroplane or a ship or a building to be constructed, and he'll pay in installments in the future. Okay, so the financing cost is built into the selling price of the istisna contract. Okay, mostly Middle East banks have used the istisna contract. Even in Malaysia, we have used a Kuwait Finance House, which was in Malaysia, used this to build a mall, which is one of the very famous malls in Kuala Lumpur, which is the Pavilion Mall. Okay, so they use this contract to manufacture and deliver. Okay, so you can use this istisna contract to finance infrastructure projects such as power plants, planes, highways, and so on. Okay, ships, okay, and buildings and so on. But basically, for infrastructure projects, actually, what is happening is nowadays they use sukuk, issue sukuk to finance infrastructure project, because this is quite a very long-term thing. Okay, so the issue sukuk, which is easier to manage. Okay. I think, and those who are listening to us, when we did the Islamic capital markets, we mentioned sukuk is an alternative to bonds, Islamic alternative to conventional bonds. Okay, so you use sukuk, but istisna can be used to finance infrastructure projects as well. Now, of course, you think, of course, a bank cannot, it's not a construction company. Banks are not a manufacturing company, neither do they construction. So there are various ways to get over this thing. One way, remember when we did Salam, we have an agency model where we get an agent to buy and sell the goods instead of the bank itself opening a branch to buy and sell commodities. You don't do that. So similarly, for example, I'm been asked not to mention Malaysia, but unfortunately, many of the examples come from that. But there may be examples in the Middle East also, where the Tabung Haji, the Tabung Haji is the financial institution which was created by the government to get people to save to go for Hajj. All right. And then it has become a very big financial institution in Malaysia, and it is a big investor. And nowadays, people invest there to get Sharia compliant savings also. Okay. So what it has done, Tabung Haji is not a bank, okay? So it's a financial institution, but it has subsidiaries. It has one of the subsidiaries is housing. It has a subsidiary for housing, subsidiary for travel tourism, travel agency. It has factories to what do you call processed palm oil and so on. Okay, so basically they have a financial institution which gets deposits, but they use the money. They actually have subsidiaries, companies which actually does the physical manufacturing of goods and providing and companies to provide services. Okay, they're all under them. All right. So what the Tabung Haji did was they have construction companies. So they are into public housing. So so they build houses and sell the houses. So in fact, so they actually have a construction company. So they have architects and they'll build the thing and so on. All right. So Islamic Bank can do this. So you can, you can finance Istisna contracts, and your subsidiary, Islamic Bank subsidiary, can where the law of the country allows, Islamic banks can have subsidiaries, and then they can do the manufacturing or whatever they want to sell, and then it will be delivered to the customer in the future. Okay. Now, but what the normal way they've done is not like this. Or for also actually for a more pure Islamic financing, we should do this, where the company which gives the financing also, like for example, this is not actually only in Islamic bank. If you remember the cars like Toyota, Mercedes, they have a financing companies. So Toyota and Mercedes, they will build the automobile, and the subsidiary financing company will provide the either lease the cars, or they will actually sell the cars on what do you call, like ijara muntahid with tamlik we did it. So it's a lease and sell. Okay, lease and sell. Higher purchase, no? They can do that. So basically the same company is doing. So in this case, we reverse. So Islamic Bank is the financing, and there are subsidiaries to do this. So that is a more purer form of more actually it will change the economy substantially to a more physical economy rather than purely paper economy. Okay, a more Islamic way that way. But what is done normally is not like that. What is said in actual practice is they have, just like in Salam financing, we have parallel Salam, we have Istisna, parallel Istisna, where the Islamic bank, they make a parallel Istisna contract with a house building company, manufacturing company, to build machines or planes or ships or whatever, or they will contract with the construction company to build the houses or whatever under the malls, shopping malls, or storage godowns and warehouses and so on. So they will do the building, that subcontract. So that's called a parallel istisna contract. And when it's ready, they will deliver it to the Islamic bank. Actually not, they will deliver to the customer of the Islamic bank under the instructions of the Islamic bank. Okay. Okay. Okay, here's the model. So we have, all right, Islamic bank, they make a istisna contract with the customer. Okay, that's called al-mustasni. Okay, the customer is called al-mustasni. And Asani, actually the bank is Asani, that is a manufacturer, and then Mustasri is the bank's customer. All right. So bank customer wants financing of a building or something they like to manufacture, or ship or plane or whatever. So the Islamic bank enters in contract to build and supply and finance the whatever is being built, and then so the remember, this contract is a sale contract, but the thing to be sold is not yet available. So the bank supposed to manufacture the thing and sell it, and then the bank will pay the thing. Maybe they will pay a deposit first, and then later on they will pay the thing once it's delivered, or during the construction in installments. Okay. Now this is not a murabaha sale, it is a istisna sale, because murabaha sale you have to have the commodity physical existence and ownership at the time of sale. Istisna you don't have that. So what the bank does is it doesn't do its own manufacturing. It goes to the manufacturer, okay, or the builder or whatever, and then it will enter into a parallel istisna contract, okay, and then at a fixed price, which is obviously lower than the price it sells the customer. That is to make money, okay. And then uh, once the manufacturer delivers it, okay, once the manufacturer delivers it, then what you call then it will be delivered to the customer. So basically, it doesn't go through the bank. It actually, the bank will tell, okay, deliver this to the customer, so it will deliver, and the bank will pay. Normally, the bank pays a deposit, and the construction is going on. It will pay in progress until it's completed, and then okay, and so on. So this is how it's done. So number one, customer executes a contract with Islamic bank to manufacture and deliver. So the bank, customer will enter into contract. So the banks and is called Istisna contract. They usually pay the deposit. Customer pays a series of progress payment to the bank on being billed. So the bank will bill on in progress payment, but sometimes the progress payment, even after it's manufactured, complete and delivered, the thing will continue. Okay. And then the bank enters into agreement with manufacturer to manufacture and deliver the goods to the bank at an agreed future date. Normally a deposit and a series of progress payments are made with to the manufacturer when the manufacturer bills the bank. Okay. The manufacturer manufactures and bills the bank periodically and delivers the goods to the bank, actually the customer, at the end of the contract. So by the time you finish everything and deliver, all the payment to the manufacturer will be given to him. But they will still be receivable from the customer because he wants financing. Because a ship, maybe can be built in 3 years, or an aeroplane can be built in 3 years, but it's so expensive. These are very high ticket items. So the customer normally will need a longer period of financing other than the manufacturing period. So maybe it takes 3 years to build, but bank takes financing for 10 years. Okay, so the financing cost will be built into the sale price of the Islamic bank. Okay. Okay, here, all right. So istisna is considered as a special case of salam, but it is a bit more difficult and more what you call, in the sense of gharar. There's extra gharar in manufacturing, because nowadays, with all the international standards, and so on, we have standard for everything. We have standard for commodities, like what is the type of dates, quality of dates, they call it, they give names, Ajwa this and the Ajwa A, Ajwa double A, Ajwa B, and so on. Similarly, we have for rubber, tin, commodities, we have RSS1, for rice, we have IR something, IR 86, IR 96, whatever it is. Even for fruits, we have a standard. Standard means It is a certain species, certain quality, and certain grade, So, we have all that. So, for commodities, we can actually sort of have less garar because we can specify exactly what we want, okay, to be delivered in the future. Unfortunately, for manufacturing, we can specify to a large extent, but how it turns out, for example, we do not know the quality of the construction of this guy. We have to choose, carefully from the experience and all that. But the manufacturer, can be defective. When they deliver, it can be defective, and it can be also, during the construction, the customer want to change something. That's called a variation order. So let's say initially he wanted a house with 10 rooms. Now he wants 15 rooms, okay? And he wants now Italian tiles or Rajasthan granite or so on, so tiles and so on. So then variation order, you can increase the price, okay? But sometimes the problem is, supposing the manufacturer which delivers to the bank, the parallel Istisna contract guy, he delivers some defective goods, So the, the, when the bank delivers to the customer has the right to refuse it, okay? And also another thing is, uh, you know, uh, it can be different quality, different manufacturing quality, maybe defect, and so on. So basically, there's a bit more garar, And another problem with this Istisna compared to Salam is, now supposing the manufacturer fails to manufacture, okay, or he get bankrupt, So where is this guy? Because remember, even though, like for example, if you're buying an aeroplane, we can say, okay, we want Airbus 350 or 767. Yeah, but each aircraft, although the model is the same, it can have different requirements. For example, if it's a cargo plane, if it is a passenger seat, how it can be configured, how many business class seats you want, how many economy seats you want, what sort of entertainment system you want, and so on. So it's very, very variable. So if the manufacturer fails to deliver, Islamic Bank cannot go to the market and just buy anything. And unlike in Salam, you can go to the market and you can buy the foods or commodity, and you can give it to although maybe at a loss, you can give it to the customer. But you can't do that in Istisna because you cannot just go there and buy another plane and give to the customer. It's impossible. Plane, always you have to pre-order. Ship also. Ship is even more difficult than plane. Plane, actually, we have certain range of models. Ship is entirely custom fit, There's no ship S757. You don't have a, Korea ship number 10. We don't have things like that. Each ship is a customized thing. So if the manufacturer of the ship fails to deliver, the Islamic Bank cannot go and find another ship to deliver to the customer. It's quite impossible. Okay, but at the same time, this contract is necessary. So what the Sharia does is, okay, we avoid gharar as much as possible, and but there are cases where they cannot deliver. I suppose the bank will have to pay compensation to the. After all, they might not have paid fully, but they must pay for break. You broke the contract, so you have to pay compensation. Okay. So istisna, although not in the dalil for istisna is not in the scriptural text. It's not in the Quran or Hadith, but it's not prohibited either. So istisna is valid from the consensus ijma of the Islamic scholars. Okay. Number two, what is the condition for validity? First of all, the subject matter must be known as specified. You cannot say, oh, okay, build me a car, build me a ship. That is gharar already, because a ship can be all sorts of shapes and sizes. So you cannot say build me a ship, build me a house. You have to specify. First of all, you have to specify the kind. What do you want? Car, aeroplane, house. So this is general. Then what type of car? Toyota car, Boeing aeroplane, Boeing what? 767, 757, 707, 707 no more. No? So 737, okay, and so on. Or low cost house or luxury house, that is more, okay. Quality, you can have a table of specification, okay. In case of Salam, maybe it ends in number 1 and 2. You have a certain grade and that's it. But in case of Istisna, you have more specification, very, very exact. How many rooms you want, what sort of electrical, 3-phase or 2-phase, what sort of tiling, what sort of paint, what sort of wallpaper you want, what sort of roof you want, how many doors, and what do you want, Wi-Fi, built-in or something like that. Nowadays, a lot more. So you need to be very, very, very specific, how many floors you want and so on. All right. So the specification for Istisna is much more than Salam. The construction contracts, the parallel Istisna contract, where they will be very huge. Can you see me? Can you see my hand? Okay. So maybe I cannot do like this, so I do it horizontally. So the contract for manufacturing is usually, can you imagine for a plane or a ship, it might be this thick, and the specifications are there. Maybe my hand should go out of the screen camera. Okay, it's so thick, because it got so many specifications. All right. Okay. Then number 3, date of delivery. Okay. Initially, Hanafis did not allow fixing of delivery date because, manufacturing, a lot of things can occur. So, for example, COVID. In COVID, you cannot go in and manufacture. So, that you cannot fix the delivery date. Okay. But AOF scholars, AOF, they've agreed to the all fixation of future delivery date in order to avoid gharar in line with the resolution in the Fiqh Academy, OIC Fiqh Academy. Okay. Now, even then, we fix a tentative delivery date, okay? And they will be, supposing you cannot deliver on time, and if it is caused by the manufacturer or the bank, supposedly, then you have to pay compensation for late delivery, okay? All right. But the best thing to do is, okay, you better fix a delivery date, maybe. But as with Salam, you better give a range. For example, it's better to say, okay, I want in January 2028, I want it to be delivered. Okay, all right. That's okay. It gives you 30 days, but not too much or so. If you fix exact date, then very difficult. Okay. So normally they fix, okay, in January, or even they'll specify, okay, by 2025, sorry, by 2030, we will finish the entire electrification and double tracking on the railway line. Okay. So the bridge, very, very expensive bridge, very long bridge, it will take 5 years to build. So we'll say, okay, in that particular year, we will deliver. Okay. Because the longer time of construction, the more gharar, even the manufacturer cannot be certain. There are a lot of things which can go wrong. So, but we have to reduce gharar. We can say, okay, you deliver in 2030. All right, we fix it. All right, and so on. Price. Sorry, go up again. Number 4, price. Price should be known to the extent of remaining lack of knowledge. Okay, normally the price should be fixed. It cannot be increased or decreased on account of the normal increase or decrease in commodity price of labor, cost of labor, and so on. This is the problem with the Istisna. There's a lot of risk, price risk, because the price of labor, materials might go up in time, especially if the contract is long. Maybe if it's 6 months, maybe not so bad. If you just want a house, no problem, maybe you can build it in 3 to 6 months, okay? Especially now with prefab houses, it's okay. But if you want a shape or a bridge or what, 5 years is a long time and labor price might go up. So basically, they will take into consideration all of this. What is the price, what is the expected variation in labor price, material price, and they'll build it up into the price, Istisna price, selling price. But you can never know. So let's say the labor cost increased by 5%, the material cost increased by 10. This is a normal increase. So that one you cannot add on to the contract. Is this not because it's a sale contract? You have already fixed the price. So even if the cost of the thing goes up, the bank will have to bear it. So that's why it's very risky. Okay, bank will have to bear it, and then if the bank gets a discount from the manufacturer, or if the actual costs are substantially less than expected, the ultimate purchaser is not entitled to any discount. Normally there's a risk of exceeding the cost but not going down. But in case of IT systems, for example, you want to build a big computer, it will take a few months. But sometimes you discover new technology, we make it a bit less, so the price comes down for the bank. But the purchaser must be, the customer will have to stick with the price unless the what you call the bank gives some ibra, which is just like discount for debt and so on. So that is on a voluntary basis by the bank. Okay. Now, according to Sharia standard, a cost plus istisna contract is not allowed. Now, in military manufacturing, actually, in a exact, okay, supposing I'm making planes for the military, okay, normally, like in the US, they go for cost plus contract because the manufacturer don't want to take the risk of cost increases. So they say whatever cost, of course they will limit cost increase to a certain amount. Otherwise, the cost could double or triple. So they will fix a cost plus, okay, the manufacturer will get 50% profit. So cost, whatever the cost, plus 50%. So in that case, if it's a istisna contract, it cannot be, the sale price cannot be fixed. Therefore, it is haram to have a cost plus contract under istisna. You'd have to fix the price, okay? Now, a price change is allowed if the specification of the al-masnu, that is the al-masnu is the what you're manufacturing, are modified by the contracting parties subject to mutual agreement or due to unforeseen contingencies. For example, if there's nowadays full of sanction, the world is sanctioning everybody. So they sanction, you can't get the raw material, then you can go for, instead of buying from America, you buy from China. Then they have to be mutually agreed. All right. Or more often, variation order. You wanted Boeing 757 or 767 with 80% economy seating and 20% business class. Then you found nowadays with the Zoom, business people don't travel that much. So now you want to reduce the number of business seats. That's a variation order. Okay, variation order. Then you have to deal with the bank to negotiate the additional price. Okay. Okay. How much time do I have?
Professor, it's almost 7:35. We have another 5 minutes, inshallah.
Okay. Yeah, quite a number of things. So binding nature of contracts. Okay. Uh, okay. Let's forget this. Uh, Legal concern is this now? It transfers reciprocally the title of ownership within al mustasni as sani. So the sani will transfer the ownership of the things which is built to the al mustasni. Okay. At the contract price. Guarantees and penalty. Al mustasni, okay, and the manufacturer, sorry, the uh, what you call the customer has the right to get collateral for the amount he has paid. So normally you have to actually you have okay uh, have a right to get collateral because you have to pay in advance normally, so you might get collateral. Okay. Okay, and then forget about it. Then sorry. So termination of contract. The contract of Islam may be terminated under the following condition: normal fulfillment obligation. So both party fulfill their respective obligation. That's finished. Mutual consent. Okay, maybe the thing is not so well, so they said, okay, let's stop here. Let's say we had a plan to build a very entire housing estate, and we have phase one is completed. Then the parties decided, okay, there's no demand for this sort of houses anymore. Let's stop here, so they can terminate the future part of the contract. So mutual consent, you can terminate. Mutual, both the bank and the customers must agree. And judicial resolution, that means the qadi can say, okay, agree to stop the contract because okay, and each party may sue for the loss it has when the contract was rescinded. Okay, and also all right, options are non-compliant. If the master is non-conformity with specific, you are delivering something which is not specific according to specification, then the buyer will have an option to reject or accept it without seeking damages. Okay, so this is something strange, because let's say you wanted this house and it's not according to quality. So how can you accept it without compensation? But this is the Sharia, okay? Because it's want to avoid riba. Okay, so so you can have the option to reject. Unfortunately, from the Islamic banking contracts, this sort of thing they try to avoid lah, because the bank cannot bear the loss. But according to the Sharia, if you don't deliver according to specification, then they have the right to reject. Okay. Okay. Parallel istisna is the opposite side of the contract. So I think since we don't have time, uh, so we have certain stipulations under Sharia for parallel istisna. Okay. In fact, the slides will be given to you. I think already given to the thumbnail, and they can, except for the Islamic capital market slide, I cannot be shared because I got it from somebody else. All the other slides which I've given can be shared with the participants. So I think, okay, I think I'll stop here. I think we already discussed quite a number of things already.